Sonic the Hedgehog. He's fast, he's cool, and he's scary. As in recent years, Sonic has been trending all over the web, for good or for worst. Yeah, we don't talk about that. To movies, games, merch, and overall content, it seems that the blue hedgehog is rising back again like in the Genesis era. But that's not the only thing that's also started trending. There's also been a rise in Sonic horror related content from videos and games. And if you ask me, it's genuinely scary and disturbing. Seeing all of this made me ask myself, why does Sonic and horror go so well together? To know that, we need to go to the very first mainstream Sonic horror story. If you've been long enough in the internet, you know where this is going. In August 2011, a user named JC the Hyena posted a story on the Creepypasta wiki about a mysterious CD-ROM the protagonist received from a friend. The disc was labeled Sonic.exe. Before I continue, I'm not going to read the whole creepypasta since it's too long, so I'm just going to give you a quick summary. When he boots up the game, it starts normally, but soon turns dark and disturbing. The player notices the title screen has bloodshot eyes on Sonic, and strange, ominous music plays. As the game progresses, the protagonist witnesses Sonic doing horrifying things like torturing and killing other characters, such as Tails, Knuckles, and Dr. Robotnik, in gruesome ways. Sonic is portrayed as a malevolent, godlike entity with a twisted smile and a hunger for violence. Through the game, unsettling text appears on the screen with phrases like "I am God" from Sonic. Eventually, the protagonist realizes this isn't just a game. Something sinister is using the game as a gateway to terrorize the real world. The story typically ends with the protagonist in a state of paranoia, fearing that Sonic.exe will come for them next. The tale plays on the idea of corrupted nostalgia and the horrors of technology, blending childhood memories with grotesque imagery to unsettle the readers. And I believe that's the reason why this became so popular. For a lot of people, including me, Sonic is a nostalgic and childhood hero. We know Sonic isn't like that and overall wouldn't do any of those things mentioned on the creepypasta. But I believe that's not the only reason why a lot of people find Sonic eerie and scary. After the big hit of Sonic.exe, a lot of users on the internet started making fun of it, making memes, weird fan art, and overall removing the whole disturbing feeling. The original story was moved to the Trollpasta page. There were countless remakes of the original games that were created back in 2012, trying to ignite that horror the game created back then, but at the end of the day, nobody took it seriously anymore. Until Sonic.eyx is a creepypasta inspired ROM hack and based on Sonic.exe. It features a disturbing version of Sonic characterized by unnaturally long arms, bloody claws, and a single oversized eye. The character was created in October 2021 and the ROM hack was posted to GameJolt in March 2022. It quickly gained popularity through Let's Play videos and spawned a wave of fan content in the following months, continuing the tradition of eerie Sonic adaptations in internet horror culture. Now, what made this game different from the original EXE game? Well, let's see. Opening the game, you're introduced to a black screen, but if you pay close attention, you could barely see a one-eyed Sonic staring back at you, breathing heavily. After that, the screen changes to Sega intro screen like any other Sonic game would, and then showing the Sonic Team production screen with 1 second pop-in of the word die. Then, we enter the title screen, and automatically it glitches, showing a bit of Sonic in his demon form. No, not that type of demon form. We get a message saying, "Quit right now before it's too late," and telling us your time is running out. Immediately, a deformed Sonic pops out of the Sonic logo, telling us to run before his eyes widen with pleasure that he found his new victim to play with. Like any other Sonic game, we start on Green Hill Zone, this time playing as Tails. We play the game as normal, collecting rings, beating badniks, and suddenly, at the end of the stage, we see a deformed Sonic standing there with his back facing us, quickly switching to the original Sonic that we all know, kinda giving us the assumption that he didn't want us to see him deformed. He runs away and we start following him. On our way, we get a pop-up of Sonic without eyes telling us to meet him at the beginning of the stage, quickly changing to his demonic form. No, not that form! We meet Sonic midway, freezing our screen and automatically attacking us. We're greeted with Knuckles staring directly at us, breaking the fourth wall. He begins to speak, questioning why we seem to take pleasure in making them suffer. "What have we ever done to deserve this?" he asks. "You enjoy watching us in pain, don't you? To you, it's all just a game. Well, we don't deserve this. You do." He goes on to remind the player of all the times they've watched these characters in their agony, suggesting that the real punishment should be ours. Then Knuckles warns us, someone is coming to give you what you deserve. He's on his way now. Suddenly, the game displays an error message. Failed to log into your current internet connection. Closing the game. Reopening the game, you spawn as Ray. Ray, for a lot of people who don't know, is a minor character in the Sonic the Hedgehog series. He first appears as a playable character in Sega Sonic the Hedgehog arcade game, and later returns in Sonic Mania Plus. And that's all you need to know about him. Anyway, we play as him, and while we're running, there's an eye in the background watching us. When the eye closes and disappears into the bottomless pit, we suddenly get jump scared by Sonic himself, and he begins to chase us. But we're not fast enough, getting our eyes squished. We later switch to a peaceful level, where we find Sonic chilling on a hill. We continue to play as him during the level. And funny enough, this horror game managed to create a decent Sonic stage. Now that's true horror. We continue moving forward until all of a sudden we fall into a pit. We are shown Sonic floating on a body of water, presumably dead. Then we see the entity's eyes in the background shaking. I assume this is the spot where the demon entity didn't let Sonic die and instead took over his body. Then it pans back to the level like it never happened, or so you think. The level changes to an eyeless Sonic running in some sort of tunnel, with the demon finally taking full control of his body. We get teleported back to the level, but this time there's no music, no enemies, nothing. Just emptiness. Then Sonic stops and starts staring at you. That's right, he knows. He knows those janks are fake as fuck! Sonic jumps down the stage. Everything is quiet. And without a moment's notice, we get jump scared, teleporting us back to the original stage. After completing the first stage, we begin the second one, finding an empty capsule for all of a sudden get attacked by Eggman and Metal Sonic. Sonic flies across the screen, landing on the other side of the platform. We see the disfigured Sonic behind the rock for him to immediately attack Eggman, decapitating him. The level switches to a worried Tails, walking fast, missing one of his tails. The screen starts turning darker and darker by the second, to then suddenly we meet Sonic next to what I assume it's Ray's body. Tails quickly turns around and tries to run away, but like Ray, we weren't fast enough, ending up burning alive until there's nothing left of us. And that's how the game ends. I really like this version of the creepypasta. While yes, it has cheap jump scares, the vibe, animation, and the story are great. I like how this is a continuation from the old creepypasta in a way. Knuckles being aware that they've been through this suffering before and blaming us and assuming we enjoy this. Because every time there's a new Sonic.exe type horror game, the ones that end up suffering is them, and we just watch. Moving on, the last piece of content I want to talk about today is the new and recent Sonic analog horror videos. Wait. I know analog is way too overused and it's lost its charm, but trust me, this one's good. The series we're going to be talking about is called The Sonic Tapes, created by Evanimus. I really recommend watching his videos first before continuing mine to get the full experience. Link to his channel in the description. So the first video is called House Footage. We first witness Sonic standing over Eggman's lifeless body. Later, Sonic turns his gaze directly towards us. The news reports mentions an unknown threat lurking, adding to the tension. As the scene shifts, we find ourselves observing a quiet yard and a house through various security cameras. The atmosphere grows eerie as Sonic appears inching ever closer to the house. The person inside watches helplessly as Sonic approaches, dread mounting with every step. The episode reaches its chilling conclusion as Sonic corners the person who desperately tries to hide, only to be found and devoured by the blue hedgehog. The second episode is called Sonic the Hedgehog Animation. This video is a prequel to the entire series. It begins with Sonic sitting quietly, pulling a dead bunny from his lunchbox and eating it. Soon after, he spots a Flicky and a Batnik. Without hesitation, Sonic kills the bird, smashes the Batnik, and devours the pig trapped inside. Fueled by a dark hunger, Sonic races off, destroying every Batnik in his path. A few zones later, we see Eggman carefully placing a Flicky into one of his Batniks, suggesting that Eggman may not be the true villain of the story. Suddenly, Sonic bursts through the wall, killing Eggman and possibly eating him. In the final scene, Sonic is staring at us with a sinister smile, leaving viewers to wonder, did Sonic develop a taste for humans? The third episode is called Two-Tailed Fox. The episode opens with Tails sleeping peacefully, but his tranquility is shattered by the sound of footsteps. He wakes up and he blinks, and suddenly Sonic appears, looking larger than before. When Tails blinks again, Sonic has vanished. Scared, Tails gets out of his bed and begins searching his room, only to get attacked by Sonic Sonic with his tongue. No, not like that! A narrator interrupts, revealing that over the past 3 weeks, more than 900 people have reported missing. Just after this revelation, a loud crash is heard as a window shatters. The scene shifts to a victim waking up to find Sonic staring intently at him from inside the room. As the victim turns around, he is confronted by Tails, who wears a smile eerily similar to Sonic's, killing the victim. The episode concludes with a diagram illustrating the evolution of Sonic, showing how he grows larger with each person he consumes, leaving viewers with a chilling sense of unease. I really enjoyed this take of Sonic. While obviously inspired by Sonic.exe, it gave it a twist and overall different story. Instead of having Sonic inside a CD-ROM game full of furry porn, why not actually make him into a real character in the real world, creating the most nightmare-fueled series I have seen in recent date. I'm gonna end it here, and I highly suggest watching the rest of the series for yourself. Now, going back to my question, why does horror and Sonic fit so well? Sonic is fundamentally a wholesome character and wouldn't engage in the disturbing behavior we've seen him on these games and series. Like many childhood icons brought into horror, he represents innocence and nostalgia. What makes him truly terrifying is the unsettling thought that if he were to become a ruthless killing machine, his victims would be far too slow to escape his grasp.